to stick into is Quick Math. It's a training tool for kids and adults alike. In fact, adults seem to like it a lot. And instead of having buttons on the screen, which we think is highly detrimental, we want the kids to practice their handwriting and get the physical nature of enjoying it. So instead of doing anything else, you just write on the screen. And we handle, two-parters and all the other things. I'll skip through it because the idea of writing the answers is pretty simple. We have don't like people skipping, so we penalise them for it, and then we've got a lovely little graph at the end so that people can see how they're improving. And we continue on through, we start getting to basic algebra as the difficulty levels progress. So we're in advanced, you've got to start sticking in, there you go, it's a perfect example. You've got to do some division there and flip the things around. And that continues through. And we have a few more apps like this coming out quite soon. Does anyone have any questions about it?
Hi. So my daughter discovered this AppCamp classroom in first grade and she loves it. I had a question about why you decided to show the next equation as well as the term.
Right. We show the next equation so that we can enable people to go really, really fast. For children like in first grade, they might take 2 minutes to do 20 questions, which is fantastic. But for adults, they thoroughly enjoy racing themselves. In fact, the world record set by a math teacher in the United States is 8.2 seconds, I think, for 20 questions. So they're doing 2 and a bit questions a second. And that type of reward for adults is what motivates them a lot, is to just try to keep beating people on. I think Game Center is probably going to run. No. So yeah, they can compete with other people in Game Center. And we turn all that off. Well, enable teachers to turn it off in the classroom.
So you're showing the next equation underneath?
Yep.
Okay, I just want to say a couple of things. It's actually brilliant because a long time ago, I remember when people at the post office had to key in zip codes manually. They would let them do the zip code that was in front of them, obviously, but then they would blank out 3 or 4 letters that were coming, and then in their peripheral vision, they would have one showing back here. And people would pick this up, and by the time it got to them, they would have already pre-talked, whatever you guys call it. They would be aware of it, they would have thought of it. And it's something that I've noticed when I do crossword puzzles, that in the morning, I can't figure out the answers to things. Later on, when I go back, I actually can do it fairly easily because my brain has been working on it, thank God, without me knowing about it. And so I have these theories about education that actually you know the answers to all this stuff. All you need are the right triggers to bring them up.
And yeah, that's exactly what I do when I'm racing through it. Is I'm in the zone where I'm not actually looking at anything.
I know.
I just see it and I'm writing at the same time the last answer.
I just have a question about the scoring at the end. Is it correct answers, numbers skipped, and time?
It's completely based on time. So if you skip something, then you get a penalty of 20 seconds. If you get it incorrect, which I should have shown, quickly bring it up. It just hangs there and waits for you to put in the correct answer.
Doesn't cost any time.
So there you go. And so you just have a time penalty for a couple of seconds.
Well, I congratulate you on not making it busy and full of jumping characters, really focusing on tasks. I watched it on people who were here yesterday in AppCamp, and there were some young people at your table, as you know, who did it for a really extended period of time, side by side, going back and forth, and contesting each other's time as well as their own, and that's really helpful. Thanks.
That's one of the things we love, is when we hear from parents that their kid picked up an iPad and went into their bedroom and just kept playing it for hours. You've done something. We also make preschool apps. And these are all for mathematics again. We believe that there are a number of apps out there which don't fill in the blanks. Like you understand how to count, but you don't necessarily understand number theory, for instance. So we created an interactive storybook, which you go through a nice little story, and then the characters will end up with issues. For instance, Charlie the monkey, who is interactive by the way, doesn't know the difference between all these different shapes. And so we go in and have a little puzzle where you get to work out the different shapes, and so we colour them in. Yeah, I guess I'm out of time, but there's a whole bunch of different puzzles, and every single scene is interactive, so it's a lot of fun for kids.
So this is the first app that he showed.
The quick math, yeah.
Quick math. Statistically reasoning, the logic of numerality to this would indicate a 7.98, and someone thinks it's a 13. So it looks like you got a solid app there.